They can be loud, lavish, and sometimes pompous. Indian weddings.
It takes a village.
No, the entire country is under pressure of having a wedding like that.
But at what cost? And who pays the price?
They're spending about 35 to 40 lakh, which according to me is insane.
But beneath the grandeur, there's a dark reality.
There are certain families from the middle class or the lower middle class or even the poor would end up taking loans.
Is there change on the horizon?
We don't want a pompous wedding.
It's Kirti Shri and Dipankar's big day, a traditional Hindu wedding in New Delhi. They have been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
So 11 months of wedding planning.
It takes a village.
Theirs is a typical Indian wedding, grand, meticulously planned and designed to impress. From choreographed dance routines to sacred rituals, the celebrations last for days.
Pre-wedding functions, we had like the typical Indian wedding scene wherein we had a roka, we had an engagement, we had haldi, mehndi, cocktail and wedding.
On the wedding day itself, relatives, friends and even distant acquaintances arrive in their finest attire, their presence a symbol of status and honor. Gifts are exchanged, gossip and drama unfold and emotions run high. In India, traditional weddings are multi-day extravaganzas steeped in opulence, and often there's an added element of competition. But who foots the bill? Most Indian millennials and Gen Zs can't pay for their own weddings. Instead, families step in, with the bulk of the expenses traditionally falling on the bride's side. A recent report suggests that the average Indian family spends twice as much on weddings as they do on their children's education. Kirti Shri and Dipankar's families were no exception.
I know about my parents and also about hers now. Whatever they could have saved for the both of us, they did spend all of it.
Yeah.
In a utopian world, it's not the wisest thing to do. But let me tell you one thing, what are the parents even earning for? I'm just kidding. But I can also see the pride on their faces when they were standing there. People are having the food and looking at us all dressed up with all that beautiful decor which was happening at this farmhouse. And I can still see how proud they were, not of us, like of themselves. Like we made it happen for our kids.
It's events like these that set the bar. Last year, Anant Ambani, son of Asia's richest man, got married in a spectacle that captivated the world for months. With a €550 million price tag, many called it the wedding of the century. The Kardashians, Bollywood royalty and other VIPs attended. Nimit Mehra has been in the wedding business for the last 25 years.
The Indian wedding industry today is pegged at about $130 billion US, the second largest globally, because we saw big fat Indian weddings happen 2 decades back also. We see big fat Indian weddings happening 2 decades later also. And why exactly are they spending such huge amount of money? For them, it is also an extension of their image.
We are at the home of Niyati Saxena, a startup founder. She and her fiancé initially wanted a small, intimate wedding, but their families urged them to go the full 9 yards. Today is Niyati's Mehendi or Henna ceremony, a pre-wedding tradition. The relatives have started trickling in.
Roughly about 20 to 25 lakhs being spent on the events as a whole, on the whole wedding. Oh, my mom is saying it's more than that. Do you want to tell me roughly? 35. Oh gosh. Okay, so my parents are spending money that I'm not aware of because it seems they're spending about 35 to 40 lakhs, which according to me is insane.
Not for Niyati's mother Neha, who like most Indian parents feels bound by societal expectations and the weight of peer pressure.
When we've been attending, people's wedding, my cousins, my friends, like when it's my turn, I can't do that. I'm having an intimate wedding, you're not part of it. When Niyati was born, so from that day onwards, you start thinking ki when my child gets married, I'll be doing this. It's been thought of. It's been planned for. It's ingrained in us. So to have a traditional wedding is very important. And I think it brings out a lot of fun and the connections, a lot of reason to celebrate the whole thing. Yeah.
But not everyone can afford that. In India, the wealthiest 1% control at least 40% of the country's total wealth. For many, grand celebrations are out of reach. We are in Agra, the city of love, known for the Taj Mahal. Here, mass weddings like this one, often sponsored by the government or philanthropic groups, provide a more affordable alternative. Many poor families register as beneficiaries here. Vijay Kumar is a government official overseeing the event.
This is a mass wedding program for brides from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Under this scheme, each bride receives 51,000 rupees, which is about 550 euros. Of this amount, 35,000 rupees is directly transferred to her bank account. 10,000 rupees is allocated for household essentials, and 6,000 rupees goes to the event organisers.
Gifts and cash for the brides are usually kept by the groom or his family.
I would like to keep the money for my future. This money will help me in the future.
Some brides admitted to us off the record that their families are still planning larger receptions due to social pressure. The bride's family is expected to spend vast sums to meet the family of the groom's demands and impress relatives. Failing to do so can have serious consequences. The wedding could be called off or the family has to borrow from informal money lenders. These loans often trap families in lifelong debt.
There are about 10 million weddings that take place in the country annually. There are certain families from the middle class or the lower middle class or even the poor would end up taking loans. And then becomes a very difficult proposition to pay off these loans because eventually the pressure comes on to the parents.
And then there's the issue of dowry, which the bride's family is often expected to pay to the groom and his family. Another wedding procession with brass bands, but in this neighborhood, I'm meeting a mother in mourning. She shows me photos from her youngest daughter's wedding held just a year ago. But now her daughter is gone. She was found dead, an alleged suicide, after enduring relentless torment from her husband and in-laws, says her mother.
We didn't realize this would happen. She was lonely. She endured all that, only told me 2 or 3 times.
She's a widow, and the dowry was far beyond her means.
A fridge, a cooler, a washing machine, a double bed, a big-sized TV. They wanted a car. So I also gave him a gold chain and a ring. And they still did this to my daughter.
Her daughter posted reels on Instagram expressing her frustration over dowry demands.
Where people value dowry above all else, how am I supposed to live here?
Her mother believes it was murder, not suicide, and the police is involved. The husband is behind bars now but has yet to face prosecution, while the mother is struggling to repay the loan from the wedding. Dowry is illegal in India, yet it's still given in 95% of weddings.
Interesting thing about this dowry is that no community caste is left out of it.
Social activist and researcher Ranjana Kumari has spent decades fighting against dowry violence.
It is happening because even in 2022, the data presented in Parliament, we have 6,000 dowry deaths reported to Parliament. and 13,500 harassment cases that have been registered. If one is mustering the kind of courage to take it to the court, to the police station, then there are 10 cases happening behind that. People are just silent about it. Dowry harassment, dowry suicides, dowry killings are really grown. Market-driven weddings are really creating much more problem now for the girls and the family of the girls.
But how can couples and families evade the pressure? We meet Chetan and Vishakha in Delhi. They are wedding photographers and married to each other. Today they are at a pre-wedding shoot. Working at so many big weddings has discouraged them from following this path themselves.
We've seen at weddings where people, they're just two performers. That there'll be 50 dancers in front of them, and they're just
sitting on a big chair. A caravan goes on, the entry happens, there are 1,000 firecrackers going off, 100 priests singing, and then they exchange garlands.
Then they do the Varmala. That feels so unnatural.
When planning their own wedding 2 years ago, they both opted for a small, private celebration.
That we have seen so many weddings.
We don't want a pompous wedding.
There wasn't a single soul at the wedding who I didn't know personally. I didn't have to put on any airs and graces.
What was it like for them to reject the societal pressure?
Anyone opting for a small wedding here needs guts.
You will have to fight with your family, and yeah, people will talk.
This is a video from their big day. It cost a fraction of the average traditional wedding bill. Only 20 close friends and relatives were invited. Their families also eventually accepted it.
Everybody was like, this is how wedding should be.
At the wedding, people felt they were celebrating two people.
But tradition and pressure run deep. Despite the financial and emotional costs, most Indian weddings remain huge affairs, and theirs is still an exception.